This is Jabba the Pod. Right, sons, and welcome to SYFY WIRE's Jabba the Pod, our weekly Star Wars podcast where we celebrate and discuss the movies, shows, books, comics, games, and everything else from the galaxy far, far away. Every generation has a legend, every legend has a podcast, and this is ours. I am your host, disgraced former Jedi and Force mystic Brian Silliman. Joining me, as always, are the greatest co-hosts in the galaxy, beginning with former Force-sensitive Assassins Guild member turned droids rights activist Caitlin Bush.
Hello there.
And the man who lets us record on his starship, the smuggler with a not-so-secret heart of gold, captain of the Starbinger, Matt Romano.
Greetings.
Also with us is our protocol droid, Y1RZZ, Human Podcast Relations. What's good, wires?
Oh, hello, sir. I would like to bring up some issues I personally had with your coverage of the Clone Wars Season 6, for one thing. The station in the First Order 66 arc is named Ringo Vinda and not Ringo Vindi. You may have been thinking of Dr. Vindi, but whatever. Also, there is a moment when Anakin's synthetic hand does punch against the real hand of Rush Clovis, and it is most satisfying. Furthermore, they make it clear that it is pronounced munes several times. They are munes, not muns or moons. They are munes.
Okay, wow.
Wow.
Well, let's call that.
Whose fault is that?
Let's call the whole thing off, wires.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Now, time for some news on the march.
News on the march.
Okay, big rumor in Star Wars world.
Huge
we started
rumor.
this week with a big rumor. Now, we gotta say that this is a rumor, even though some trades are picking it up, as is normally. That you could take that to the bank. But
Yep.
when it comes to Star Wars, until it's on StarWars.com,
You don't
until
trust-
it comes
you
out
don't
of
trust
Kathy
it.
Kennedy's mouth, trust nothing.
Brian has trust issues.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah,
established.
I have
we've
trust
established
issues.
that.
I have a lot of trust issues.
He's
Simply
been
put,
hurt
I
before.
trust nobody. It's like my father. Anyway, that's a new record for how long it took me to do that. Anyway, nothing is official, but we'd be remiss if we didn't catch you up on what this rumor was, and it is an interesting rumor.
It's cool.
It's that a new Star Wars movie. It's like a new, and this came out of nowhere. I've at least never heard these names connected with Star Wars.
Crazy.
Before. Directed by us and starring us. Not really.
It was like, whoa.
This is news to me.
Well, surprise. You're gonna be more of a star. No, directed by J.D. Dillard, whose movie Sweetheart is a creature feature that's on Netflix right now. Also directed a movie called Slight. Do I have that correct? Slight is the other
Yep.
one. Written by Matt Owens, and the big headline is always saying he wrote for Luke Cage, and they're all leaving that Luke Cage writer. But he also wrote and story edited and wrote a lot of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right.
Seasons 4 and 5. My beloved Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yep.
A highly underrated
you're
show.
a big Agents of
I
S.H.I.E.L.D. stan.
love Agents of
Yeah.
S.H.I.E.L.D. I loved it from moment one, and that's a show that keeps getting better and better. And Fitzsimmons for life. Stop screwing with them. Let them be happy. Anyway, he wrote a lot of seasons 4 and 5 where that's like it was already great. It got season 4 was insanely good, and then 5 just keep Felinda, Fitzsimmons, all of that for
This
life.
is an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah,
podcast
I was going to
now.
say, moving on.
Ming Na Wen,
Yeah.
love your work on the show. You are welcome on Jabba the Pod at a time. But so he's apparently the writer that they're talking about. I am now. So that's what they're saying. They're saying this is the movie. Nobody really knows what it's about,
Right.
Except IMDb, and I swear, I did not put this on there.
Yeah.
I am not having a laugh.
Don't trust you,
no,
but
you
tell
should-
me what's on there.
As well, you shouldn't. But I mean, I have control in terms of IMDb. I have control over my own page. I don't have the power to put this up there.
Okay.
Anyway, IMDb has a listing for this movie.
Do we believe him?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come on.
Go on. Keep
you
talking.
not
Keep
trust
talking.
this
Keep
face?
talking.
Anyway.
This is we're
J.D.
having our
Dillon,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
look him up and you look up Matt Owens, and they have him listed as Untitled /Star Wars /Exegol Project.
Wait
I
a
am
minute.
not kidding.
But how does this stuff get on
Now,
IMDb?
wait.
Like,
Because anyone can kind of edit IMDb. If you just add a credit and you have enough clout, that's why you shouldn't trust a lot of things
Yeah.
on IMDb. But anyway, I mean, not to slight IMDb, you're a wonderful service, and I'm a proud customer. But the description is this. Project will reportedly, important, take place on the hidden Sith planet of Exegol. That's what they're claiming this movie's about. I didn't
So
do this.
who's gonna make the joke?
Like, Sexical, of course. It's
There we
like
go.
none of us need to make the joke because our
No.
Padawans
Because
are already making
we
it.
know
Yes.
what the joke
I
is.
posted a screen grab of this because it's probably already taken down.
I
at
hope
this
so.
point. But I had to screen grab the minute I saw it. And our Padawans are already having a field day. One of them was saying NC just wrote NC-17.
NC-17.
One of them
Rated
wrote, it's like,
NC-17.
is this a porn parody? It's like it could be anything. But I'm like, I seriously doubt the next Star Wars movie will be porn.
Well, but also, let
or
alone
on
on
Exegol.
Yeah,
Even though
exactly.
I personally loved Exegol. In the greater
Yeah.
scope of fandom, I felt like pretty much everything Exegol kind of went down with a lead balloon. So I
Yes.
don't really see them doubling down on Exegol. It's like, you know what a lot of fans didn't like was all that Exegol stuff. Let's do
Yeah.
a whole movie about
Yeah.
that. I would love it, but
You
I
know,
think
all those shadows in the arena that were like, I don't know,
That
rooting
were
on the
getting
Emperor.
on.
Yeah, getting on.
I would watch the hell out of an Exegol movie, but
Yeah, I
I
guess.
just don't see what's your. I mean, there's no way.
No.
There's no way.
I like that.
What,
no,
aside, so that's somebody having fun.
I'd like it to be the next animated series, honestly. That follows
Exegol, the animated series?
Exegol, the animated
Well,
series.
it's like
Exegol is Star Wars.
an NC-17 rated cartoon.
Hey, well,
Talk
whatever
about
you're into.
doing crazy forced backflips in animation. But
Oh,
now,
no.
yes. But do you guys think now? What about the rest of the rumor?
Yeah.
What can we take from J.D. Dillard and Matt Owens? Do we think there's any credence here? Do we think this
I mean,
holds?
I would hope so. The one of the things that people talk about pretty frequently with Star Wars directors, with Star Wars writers, it's very white, it's very male.
Yep.
So let's get someone who's not a white dude in to direct a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. And then also,
to direct, to write, to do all of these things.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, the writer is white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
So
But I've said this before.
he's a whiter.
in the future.
Very
Like-
good.
in the future,
like-
it's like, I
like-
guess it's like one step at a time.
Yeah.
I kind of saw this. I'm like, okay, and I meant to watch the movie, the creature feature that's on Netflix. I haven't yet, but I'm in such this like Deborah Chow phase where I guess she's not done with
Yeah, she's
Mandalorian.
on the
still
live
gonna be
action
on
TV
there.
stuff.
I'm
Yeah.
like, well, Vic Mahoney also,
Yeah.
just with Rise of
But
Skywalker.
I've said this before. I think when we see things like this pop up online, it's just like someone's testing the waters. This is
they're
a
like, well,
technique.
You think it's an intentional leak?
Yeah.
And
We've
what
talked-
are they
we've talked
With
about
such
this
a vocal
before,
fan
yeah.
base, you could put anything out there, see how that react, and then just go from there.
And then
Okay.
be
It's
like,
it's-
actually,
I'm
no,
gonna
that's
put
a
this,
rumor. What are
put
you
this
talking
out there.
about?
I'm
Yeah.
going to star in the next Star Wars movie.
There you go. If you guys
There you
think
go.
Brian should
I'm
star in
putting
the
it
next Star
out
Wars
there.
movie,
I
yeah.
just leaked it.
and
we
look
go.
at that, you're trending.
Anyway, well, that's
Yeah.
interesting. So there's that. I mean, it's not forced gospel. So that's
No, forced gossip.
Nobody start. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Nobody go and Fandango and start buying tickets. All right. But anyway, we are recording on Friday, February 28th, 2020, and that means there is a brand new episode of Season 7 of Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Yes, sir.
Clone Wars saved. It wasn't a dream. Time for more fun with a Bad Batch. Now it's time for us to celebrate and discuss the Kark and Criff. Out of this episode, we're going to have some new canon coming at us, and when we do, we'll fire off our trusty cannon. Cannon! If we have hot takes along the way, we'll sound the hot take alarm. And if anything really blew our minds, we'll let loose with the seismic mind charge. This episode is brand new, so if you have not watched it yet and don't want to be spoiled, we will help you out and build the baby, and we will sound the spoiler klaxon. If we're all set, you guys ready?
I think we're ready.
Punch it!
Begun. The Clone War has.
You're stuck with me, Sky Guy.
And we're back to Star Wars, The Clone Wars, A Distant Echo. Friday, the 28th, 2020, the new episode hit Disney Plus early this morning. And you know what I'm going to go with first? No soundtrack. There's not a soundtrack.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't
they did
think-
last week,
I
yeah.
don't think we're going to get, because there
No.
was no new music. It was
Yeah.
We heard the Bad Batch theme again.
Yep.
And I think we'll, for each arc. I
Yeah,
could see
I
us
think
getting
so.
a little theme for each arc.
So like
Maybe
there
one
will
at the
be
end.
a Mandalorian.
Siege
Here's
of
like a Siege of
Mandalore.
Mandalore. They might, yeah. It's like, and so possibly. So
Yeah.
we're fine with that.
Yep.
We're cool. The episode is called A Distant Echo. Conspiracy is the first word in it. Just so you know. Yes. It's not like corruption. They don't say conspiracy a million times.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's 24 minutes long again. Same
Yeah.
runtime.
Yep.
So I'm thinking these could be the standard for at least Bad Batch.
Pretty solid.
Because
Yeah.
Dave Filoni recently at the premiere of this arc. They screened all the Bad Batch at once.
Oh, okay.
And he said that this arc is the most traditional. Like, this is traditional Clone Wars.
Yeah.
He's like, when we get past this, it's like it's going to be a little more untraditional. Once we get into Ahsoka the Mechanic and then Siege of Mandalore.
Interesting.
I'm going to call it that until someone tells me
What do you
it's
think
different.
he
Ahsoka the
means?
Mechanic.
Well,
What
it's
do you
like
think he
Ahsoka's
means?
going to try and get it.
Yeah.
I think because it's also, those are structured without George.
Yeah.
This one was structured kind of still with George.
Yep.
The story of this was broken while George was still in the picture.
Yeah.
The others, the groundwork was there. And Dave also, he talked about how weird it is, being off on his own without George, but he is the chosen one, so it's his job to bring the Clone Wars back into balance.
It would be awesome after this arc if then the rest of the series is just episodic.
Well, what's interesting?
Let's just drive this home to the end.
You mean
Yeah.
like just
Yeah, no more
straight-
arcs. Let's just go.
No more
like,
arc. It's
yeah.
just one big arc.
One big arc
The
for the
Ahsoka
end.
the Mechanic will
Yep.
run right into Siege of
And then we
Mandalore.
kinda do
And,
this.
and they've
Yep.
already said it's like it's going. We know from the trailer, but it's like it is going to be running concurrent with some Revenge of the Sith. It's like
Amazing.
just so you know what happens and when. I think you're right about that. That
Yeah.
it's like after this. We're done with, as much as we love the Bad Batch. Once we see Ahsoka, it's just going to be like Ahsoka and then Ahsoka and Rex, the show, the movie, the life.
That's what we're all
The
looking for.
flamethrower.
Ahsoka and Rex, the kids love this
The
one.
kids love
anyway,
it.
but so I think you're right about that, and I think
Yeah.
that's when if we have some play around with the runtime, I think that's when they'll do
Yes.
it. I can see like the final episode, like them going all out and saying 45 minutes.
Whew, 45 minutes Clone
Why
Wars.
would you not want 45 minutes,
Come
especially
on.
if it's going to go into Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah.
Or even
I
after
mean,
that?
that's really exciting. I don't know.
It's like how did Ahsoka like after like the events of the E.K. Johnston book? It's like how did her some of her time as Fulcrum? Let's flash forward to Ahsoka the White.
I want the series ending with literally Obi-Wan and Anakin flying into the Battle of Coruscant. Like that's it. They get in the
How the
ships and
Gandhi
that's it.
series ended.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to go
that's
past
perfect.
that.
That would be amazing.
for them.
That's
Absolutely,
what I want.
Right.
That's
right?
what I want.
Yeah.
But I want it to go
right
past,
up to the
I
end.
want it to go past. That's where they end, but that's not where Ahsoka ends.
Oh yeah, true. But then we get a little epilogue stuff. But for
Yeah, a
Anakin and
little
Obi-Wan,
epilogue, a little epilogue where she goes to the Lars homestead and buries a couple lightsabers. That's what you want, right?
Exactly.
That's very good.
I'm Ahsoka.
Anyway,
Skywalker.
Ahsoka who? What if it's like, nah, you ain't been around here that long. Who are you?
Who are you?
I'm Matt. Matt who? Huh? Anyway.
Rendar.
You know who's coming. Hey. Anyway, this episode written once again by Matt Miknevets, written by me, Brent Friedman, and this time Dave Filoni has a writing credit this episode. And I know the part of the episode he was involved in. I'm sure you do too. I didn't remember him having a writing credit. And this is the only time I'll mention it with the animatics because the scene in question that I don't remember from the animatics, I'm pretty sure is the one, and you know the one I'm talking about, which we will get to. But directed by Stuart Lee, and I'll just mention other episodes directed by Stuart Lee include, and are not limited to, Steward Lee. I thought it was Stuart. I was wrong. It's Steward. Like the Steward of Gondor. He also directed The Hidden Enemy, Senate Spy, Overlords, Ghost of Mortis, Citadel Rescue, Massacre, Crisis at the Heart, Sacrifice, and Nomad Droids.
Why do they all have
Everyone
a droids
has,
one?
like that one, like these really epic, like
Which I have come
dramatic
to learn to
episodes.
love.
Yeah.
Nomad
And then
Droids.
there's always the one.
Jesus!
Well,
Jesus, the great Jesus!
Well, I wonder like what they're like if they're aware of that too. It's like they all have their funny droid episode. If it's like a running thing.
I'm sure everyone
with
wants a
them.
crack at
They're
it.
like,
Yeah.
they're like, man,
You haven't
I'm
proved your
so
metal. It's
tired.
like, yeah, I'm
Exactly.
sure you can do a massacre, but let's see if you can do a sunny day in the void. Huh? Prove
Yeah,
your metal.
yeah.
Prove your worth. Caitlin, you think you could do a Nomad Droids?
I think I could. I think I would think I would exceed.
Caitlin, they
I
should
am
hire you
certain.
right away.
I was
Yeah.
made
You were made for this.
for this.
I have secretly been buttering you up for years just so I can be a part of the project and play a voice in it.
I know. I'm very aware.
Of course you are. He also directed 15 episodes of Rebels, including Trials of the Darksaber, which is one of the best
one of the
Rebels
best
episodes,
ones.
and 19 episodes of Resistance.
Wow, 19.
So little time with Kaz the Spaz. The moral of this episode is the search for truth begins with belief. And Here's my take, and I'm wondering if you guys agree. The overall thing of this thing is it reminded me immediately of Attack of the Clones, Obi-Wan on the gunship, and says, don't let your personal feelings get in the way. We have a job to do. And this episode is personal feelings can either get in the way or they can push you farther than you would normally go.
Yep.
It's different every time, a case-by-case basis. Sometimes you're screwed when personal feelings interfere. Other times you're saved. How do you know? Instinct, faith, belief, as the moral would say. Our minds can play tricks on us and make us believe things that aren't true. Anakin has beliefs, and look what happened to him. You know, but Rex now has a belief. You can see do you guys think that Anakin's rubbing off on Rex in any way?
Undoubtedly.
Absolutely.
Undoubtedly. That's not even a question.
It's like, so how's it going to work out? Rex now has a belief that he's willing to put it all on the line for. You have a job to do. Rex is like, doesn't matter. He's learned too much for Anakin. How is it going to work out?
I'm going to sacrifice everything for my friend.
Let's see. It's like, because how many of his friends, Domino Squad down, Waxworm Boyle down. It's like, how many more? There's a possibility that one of them's left. He's not going to let Padme take a dirt nap while he goes fight Dooku. It's like, he's going to go for it. So that's the thing. It's like personal feelings, they get in the way, but still sometimes you have a job to do. And what it's like, and then it's like you think you have a job, you think you're set, and then to quote Wrecker, boom! Personal feelings get in the way.
I was waiting for that one.
You never quite know. But the plot rundown, we're still on a Nexus. A live signal from ARC Trooper Echo, thought to be dead, giving us the info to the Separatists found by Rex and the Bad Batch, which we know from last time, not so dead after all. We get another one of these long shot intros into the Anaxis base.
Goodness.
I thought of you because I'm like, like, Matt must be loving this
how do you all know what I love?
I just know.
It's like we spent a lot of time talking about Star Wars together or something.
But yes,
it's funny
I
because even
loved
when we're
that
not doing
shot.
this show, we talk about Star Wars a lot.
All
That's
the
the
time.
thing. That's why it works. Anyway, it's just these long shots of into an Nexus
so
base. I'm like,
cool.
I'm a sucker for that. Anakin, Rex, and the Bad Batch are ready to chase down the signal to get to the bottom of things. Hunter wants to go just so he can say, I told you so, but they have to get clearance from Obi-Wan Kenobi. Buzzkill, of course. Rex says, if you're certain he'll approve the mission, why wait? And I'm like, okay, this is the first Anakin's really rubbing off because he's a clone captain. Good soldiers follow orders and all this.
Saying,
and he's like,
the Jedi, we don't need them.
We don't need to wait. It's like, as long Anakin, you're cool, I'm cool. Let's go. And we have and then he says we have that thing to do. Him and Anakin have the scenes like we have that thing to do. And Rex
it's nudging him.
That thing. And I just
He's like, we don't need to do that.
Can we just talk about, for one thing, I know we had much ado about hair in previous episodes.
Goodness,
Can we talk about Anakin's hair?
Yes,
it's beautiful.
We can always talk
the
about
blowing
Anakin's hair.
of his hair in the wind and his
so
clothing
good.
in the wind.
Yes.
And also his facial expression.
The animation is so good.
Pretty much welcome to season 7.
Yeah.
It's like you
Gorgeous.
can tell that they've had years to refine this
and
stuff.
money.
Yeah. It's like
You even see it in Obi-Wan when he shows up later. It's his face is just
it's like, but the his facial expressions or whatever, they can do so much more nuance now. And it helps that Matt Lanter continues to excel in the part.
Oh
And
my
so does,
God,
of course, D. Bradley Baker. So we can gush about these actors forever and probably will. But it's noticeable immediately.
Yeah.
And especially because Anakin is in a lot more of this episode.
Yes.
So I'm just like, the hair in the wind.
Maybe it's Palpatine.
Maybe he's born with it. Again, credit to whoever tweeted that.
Yeah, whoever
that was
did
not
it.
our
Yeah,
joke,
we're like, it's
but
not
we're going
us.
to keep doing it because it is amazing. Okay, I'm sorry. It's a wonderful joke. We're
wonderful.
going to take it. Let us know who you are if you're the one who made that tweet. Anyway. So it turns out that thing is Anakin is having a holocall with Padme. This is the thing. I swear this was added.
Yeah.
But I love, Rex is in on this.
Yeah.
So for one thing, we've already talked about who knows who doesn't. Rex totally knows.
Yeah.
Rex is, oh my God. I have so many things to say.
It's like,
Keep going. I have
it's like
so
he
many
totally
things.
knows. Anakin drops and he goes in and Rex is guarding the door.
Yeah.
You know. And Anakin drops his it's a holocall with Padme. This is the scene we saw in the trailer. And I was like, when does that happen? Turns out it happens right here. He drops Outer Rim Sieges, which you know is a thing from Revenge of the Sith, which he comes back to. If they hadn't kidnapped the Chancellor, they never would have brought us back from the Outer Rim Sieges. Give me go in for another chance. Anyway. Rex gives him a single. He gives him a signal. A signal. He's definitely not single. Rex is, sadly. A signal to let him know. He's like, Obi-Wan's coming. Obi-Wan's straightening up, and he smiles a smile. He's like, hello, Rex. He's like, how's everything going? And he's like, okay.
And Rex is really bad at lying.
Yeah.
For all of these things that Rex wants to do, where he's like, I'm an individual
Yeah.
now. He still sucks.
Well,
at
for all the
lying.
things to program clones to do, they don't
It's
want
like
to give them a little
covering
better
for
Lying is
eye.
maybe
It's like
not.
there's no training for the little clones. It's like, and here's how we train them to fake having if they're in a false marriage. The Jedi have a secret marriage. This is how we train the clones to lie for
Yeah.
them.
Kamino
and
is
over
very-
here, we
yeah.
teach them how to kill battle droids. We think you'll be very pleased. Yeah, that scene doesn't happen. It should though. But he's like, he's being his boy. He's covering for him. Anakin tells Padme he's worried that that Rex's feelings are getting too personal on this mission. And I'm like, coming from you?
Yeah.
That is rich. And he's like, you might as well, because it's like, okay, here's the mission. Also, side note, Padme.
Yeah.
Where are we on that? Pretty much always what
Yeah.
Anakin says. What about Padme should be like his license plate.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my
If
goodness.
Anakin would totally have a vanity license plate on his pod. Do you guys agree?
Anakin. Yeah.
It's
And
like,
it would be black.
it would be
and
black
with red
and it would say
letters.
Padme on the front, and the back would say "slut life." Anyway, so Anakin then, and, he's like, and Padme's like, after he says that, he's like, Padme says, "I wonder where he learned that." It's like, yeah, she doesn't say it like that, but I'm like, yeah. I said on the
like-
screen, I was like, I wonder. It's like, I
Sounds
agree,
familiar.
Padme. I'm sure this is all going to end really well for everybody.
How exhausted must she be?
At this point,
Of her
oh my God. And
husband
this
and
is post.
all of
This is
his
the
crap.
post Clovis thing.
Oh man.
But I
Oh,
mean,
my
they're in
God.
love. They're just so in love. Personal feelings,
Hey,
getting
you know,
every which
that's
way.
the way it works.
Senatorial duties, Jedi, doesn't matter.
I'm exhausted just thinking
yeah,
about
pretty
Padme's
much.
life.
Love is
Yeah.
bad. Don't get involved in it. Anyway, it's also fake. It's a fake thing that Hallmark is trying to sell you. I'm lying. That's not true. Anyway, so Rex is covering badly, and Obi-Wan's like, "You'll have to do better than that, Captain." So obviously, at this point, Obi-Wan knows too. We've already had the Clovis conversation where it's like, so he knows too. But
Obi-Wan's known for years.
He's
And I've
known
said
forever,
this
yeah. It's
12
like-
million times in
right.
the podcast, but like, man, Obi-Wan,
yeah,
he knows.
And when there's that scene. It's like, you know about me and Satine. It's
Right.
like, so it's like, just
and
tell
yeah,
me.
in season
Yeah.
6,
And
he's
it
like,
comes close.
right.
And if he had
if
disaster
Anakin had
averted,
just stopped him, he
just
reached out.
just leave. Just leave the Jedi Order. It's
Yeah.
like,
Do
just
it.
leave it all behind.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Ahsoka did it.
Ahsoka did it.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan said he would have done it.
Anakin would have been so much happier.
It's like, dude, it's like, you can keep the lightsaber.
Sure.
It's like, or you could find one again.
Sure.
Yeah,
Right.
I found a way. So
It's
can you,
fine.
man. Anyway, so it's, and so this whole thing is just, the scene with Anakin and Padme is beautiful. And the thing with the hands, the shot of the hands, the hollow hand of the
Beautiful.
thing.
Hollow
And I
hands.
have to call out the acting again of Matt Lanter and Catherine Tabor, because they just, and there's so much. It's no secret. There's a lot of guff about the romance in the
Right.
prequels. It never bothered me. I actually I
loved
actually
it.
enjoy it.
I loved it.
But there's something that it's one of those things. On retrospect, it's better after that Clone Wars has made better.
yeah, because
Yeah.
you get to spend more time with the two of them.
Yeah, you spend more time, and also Lantern and Catherine Tabor are really good chemistry. Anyway, so Anakin comes out, he grabs Rex, he gets ready to go, and Obi-Wan flusters. He's like, and Obi-Wan says, "I hope you at least told Padme I said hello."
Yeah.
Which,
Awesome.
y'all, the noise that I
Yeah,
made that
he
came out
gives-
of my mouth.
He gives this look. There's this look from him to Anna, and it's like, wow. And a little hint of Across the Stars plays, and I don't think Kevin Kiner has ever used that before. So please sign to Seismic Mind Charge, because mind blown. This whole scene. I didn't
loved
see.
it.
Can we? I feel like you have a little more to say.
No, it was a Caitlin scream moment.
This whole scene?
This whole scene.
Yeah.
I was like sitting there watching it, just like
Yeah, this is fun.
I mean,
it was
this
so
is-
much fun.
I
It was
couldn't
so
believe
fun
it.
to watch.
It was like, this is the kind of stuff that it's like, okay, in terms of who knows, who doesn't, we're breaking down
This
this
is
stuff.
what I live for.
And also, this is such a good episode for Rex.
Yeah.
It's like in terms of personal feelings. And I'm like, prepare the censor, because there's no other way to say it. Is it ready? I love Rex.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Had to be said.
Yeah.
And this
He's
is not
so good.
also sound the hot take alarm. This isn't even, I'm not even going to preface this by he's my favorite.
Yeah.
Rex is the best clone. I'm saying it. Who's better?
I'm not fighting you.
Who's a better clone?
99. I don't know.
Oh, that's cheap.
Yeah, sorry.
That is cheap. But
How am I going to argue that?
now we
Rex
just look
is-
like
Yeah,
assholes.
now he's
Yeah.
just like jerks.
I
So-
mean, now I look like a couple of moof milkers over here.
No, but Rex is the best.
No, you're right.
yeah.
Rex is
It's like,
Rex is
I
the
just
best clone.
love Rex. And if you want someone knowing as we do, it's like spoiler alert, but that he actually survives this and has some semblance of happiness and has like lives on a weird
Peace
fishing
and
contraption
freedom.
tank with Wolf and crazy ass Gregor, and then appears magically in Return of the Jedi and is all good. It's like, you know what I just love for Rex personally is a little romance. Is a
Why
love
just settle
interest.
down with a nice person?
Well, maybe,
you know?
I mean, maybe him and Gregor were a thing. That would be clone on clone. Do you think they're allowed to date? Would that be weird? Is this going off on a weird tangent?
Yes, it
It's going
is.
off on a weird
Rex,
tangent,
the
but
Star
now-
Wars
We're going to
story.
pose that. It's like, but say two clones fell in love.
Yeah.
What would that be like? I wonder.
I wonder.
I'm just thinking about this right now.
The fan
This is-
fiction writes itself.
and it's going to the minute I get home. Anyway, did I just
We're
break your
moving
mind
on,
a little
we're
bit? Yeah. Never considered that, did
We're
you?
moving on.
There's not enough time in the show.
Okay, they're off to Skako Minor. Some people, Tech says Skako, other people say Skako. It's one of the. It's like, okay, pick one, please. Anyway, but Tech says Skako, so it's like we love Tech, so we'll go with Skako. The Bad Batch theme blaring in, which is great. Anakin has now joined the fun, and what a perfect group for Anakin to be
How about
involved
that
in.
ship? As a man
It's a
who
cool
loves
ship.
Star Wars ships, that's a cool ship.
That's a
It's a
cool
great
ship.
ship.
It's
Great
not- I'm
ship.
glad it's not one of those snub-nosed, multicolored shuttles.
Yeah,
that they've gotten using.
yeah.
It's not the one shuttle with the ball at the front of it. Either.
Yeah,
It's new. It has a nice cone.
No, it's like
The front of
the Emperor shuttle,
It's
early
aerodynamic.
model. Yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah.
so
I mean, I think we talked about this where we were like, Anakin is going to come in and talk about a group of clones that
Yes.
like. This is a group that is
Yeah.
going to just cause chaos
Yeah.
in the best way.
And I mean, that's like we've already seen what they can do, how seamlessly they work as a team with just the four of them, and then added with Rex and some of the 501st into the bunch. Now we get to see them how these four Rex and with Anakin in the mix. What's the Bad Batch like with a Jedi in the mix? Because we've seen how clones can play off Jedi, and is there a more perfect Jedi? Maybe Quinlan Vos.
No, this is
but
the
it's
team.
like would be also be appropriate, but. With Anakin, like this is as long as Rex is there too, because it's like this is the squad Anakin was born to be a part of.
Yes.
Agreed.
Because they're all what Obi-Wan would call pathetic life forms. In a way, they're all like people that again we talked about this last week, but there's no value. These are defective clones; they have no value. There's this orphan slave kid; he's no value.
Yeah.
This divine fool who gives emergency powers, whatever. There's no value. It's like there are value to these people, just because
the
it's
living
not
force.
readily apparent. Exactly, it's the living frickin' force. Everybody. Anyway, so. We cut to this thing, and I know you're gonna. How is Wrecker getting in his weight training?
So Wrecker is just holding up the gonk droid up above in his head.
He's doing some reps.
Yeah, he's doing reps with the gonk
Doing
droid.
some reps on his delts.
Yeah,
and his.
and I love
I
that
only know
the
two
gonk
words.
droid-
Hey, that's
Those are the only
not-
muscles I
But
know.
my- but
Don't
the-
look like somebody who lifts weights.
Yeah, but the best
Anyway.
part is gonk. The gonk droid is like counting for him because he's just like gonk, gonk, gonk. You know, like it's just.
Somebody please make that
man.
gif.
Oh yeah.
Somebody please make that gif.
It's just the gonk droid is like, oh my god.
And he's
after
also,
R2,
but he's not just doing that with his other arm. He's eating one of those fabulous supply lines chicken legs.
He's eating a chicken leg.
Wrecker.
Yeah. And
great.
He's
the best.
still your favorite.
He's still my
Okay.
favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Anakin's bonding with my favorite Crosshair a little bit. He's just checking out Crosshair's rifle. He's like, we don't generally use guns, but let's see what this
But
is
this
all
is
about.
kind of fun.
I'm like,
This
this
is
is
kinda fun.
this is a pretty cool gun. Wrecker doesn't really have they ask Hunter who he reports to, and he doesn't really have an answer.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
And I love it's kind of like when people ask me who I report to, I'm like, I really don't know anymore. It's like
I think myself,
I can't even tell you.
maybe.
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I report to myself.
Yeah,
and,
maybe Caitlin, I
and
don't
that's
know.
just one of it. Yeah, probably the two of you. If I'm being honest. Other than that, my whatever. Anyway, so also something I noticed. You noticed the Republic wartime posters in the background.
Yes.
Yeah.
All over this episode. There's
Yeah.
one with Y-wings.
Yep.
There's another one with a cruiser. It's they've probably been there before, but they really stuck out to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
episode.
yeah. I didn't notice
I'm
this
like, I
episode.
want some of them.
Yeah.
I want them to make them.
Yes.
if not,
Make
someone
that.
on Etsy has.
I'm entitled, or we could always just like no. It's probably somebody would. I need to print out, and then I can go to my friends at the copier center, and I'll make them. We'll just put them all around this room.
Jabba the Pod
Anyway.
does not support bootleg Star Wars posters.
Right.
No, we don't.
we don't. We don't. We don't
Yeah.
do that. No.
We don't.
Don't do that.
We don't.
No,
So don't do
bad.
that.
Bad.
Don't. Anyway, on Skako, a race of locals called Politeks. They're primitives who may or may not worship flying reptiles. A Politek immediately, it's one of these situations where like, oh, we'll be fine. Boom.
What's
it's like
that?
immediately. It's like clones should never say that. It's like it happens in Landing Point Rain. It happens on Umbara. It's like they got nothing that could take us down.
It just goes to show you how much life there is in the Star Wars galaxy that they're still surprised.
Yeah, I mean,
You know, like, they didn't know about these guys.
They're a little similar
Yeah.
to the Onderon flying dragons,
Yeah,
but they're
a lot
not
of-
completely similar.
Yeah.
They're not the same.
We've seen a lot of flying animals
The
like
flying
this.
Mandu,
Yeah.
Zandu, or I still don't remember what it's called.
Whatever.
But I love how I text the one who knows about it. And they come out, they're like, we gotta get them off of there. Anakin's saber ignites, but he's like, Anakin is now the voice of reason. He says, don't attack, we need to talk to them. I'm like, how have
Since when?
How have we
Yeah.
it's like, how have we gotten to this?
Yeah.
It's like Anakin's like, no, wait. Let's
He's
not
like,
rush
I
into
know
any
what we
rash
should do.
action.
Well, let's look at this group. Out of all of them, you know, he's I
We
guess
need to
he's
talk to
got to
them.
be the.
Anakin Skywalker.
Can
It's
you
like-
imagine the heart attack Obi-Wan would have had if he were here?
Oh man.
If he witnessed Anakin
if he
go,
saw what any of these Bad
"Let's
Batch is,
calm
he's
down."
like, I got to talk to the council. He's like, guys, this Bad Batch, you got to get rid of him. It's like, I don't know what you got to do.
The Bad Batch
yeah.
is bad news.
Here's the one thing. You know what I've never considered is the Bad Batch a part of Order 66?
Well, I was going to actually pose that question.
we don't
later.
know.
Yeah, we don't know what's
It's
going to
like
happen with these
they're
guys.
not there in Rebels,
yeah.
so we don't know. It's like, oh my God, I really hope they joined with
Yeah.
Rex and they got those taken out because you don't want them getting creative.
I was gonna say.
Oh boy. Well, I can think of one Jedi I'd like them to get creative on, but he got taken out. Snakes you later on my Jito. Anyway, more of them fly in, and he says they need to talk. More fly in. They grab Anakin immediately, and the look on Anakin's face as he's being dragged away. It's literally like. It is only season 7 animation that makes it possible. And I'm like, oh my God, what I wouldn't give to see that look on Hayden Christensen's face.
Oh, that would be so good.
Oh my God. Anyway, he drops his lightsaber. Rex grabs it. Reminded me of Cody grabbing Obi-Wan's.
Yes.
He might be needing
I'm
this.
always picking up after you.
Always picking up after you boys. Cross-franchising anyway. The Batch is on it. Tech takes a reading. Crosshair fires a grapple. Hunter grabs the grapple and he says, I'm just going for a ride. I'm like, oh, that is cool.
That's cool.
that was
You're
That's
cool,
just
man.
flat out cool.
Yep.
Beautiful flight sequence here. They're in some kind of settlement, the Poltech settlement. Rex and the Batch are on it. They create a rock slide and disarming it. Really cool. All of them working together to get to the bottom of it. Tech can translate, which is really good all
Awesome.
around.
Yep.
For a couple of reasons. We don't really need 3PO bungling around in the middle of this.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the
he wouldn't fare
disaster?
well.
He can't run as fast.
Yeah,
he
it's
just
like,
can't-
I mean, Wrecker would probably try and lift him, in the middle of it.
yeah.
I
It's
would
like-
pay to see that, though.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah,
Next time, it's like
Give me the Wrecker
what else
C-3PO
can
spinoff.
What else can Wrecker lift? That's why it's sad that there's no silly droid episode in this season.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
it's like
we'll see.
just Wrecker and
Yeah, yeah.
3PO and I don't know,
Trapped somewhere.
Tandevo,
Yeah.
trapped on a cave
Yeah.
in Felucia.
Exactly.
Hilarity ensues, and it's kind of based on Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
Anyway, these locals are innocent. They just don't want the war here. Anakin says it's the fault of Wat Tambor and the Separatists. So I'm like, Wat Tambor's in the Separatists. We find out he is.
Yeah.
Wat Tambor is the Separatist who's in charge of this planet, of the Techno Union.
The Techno Union.
I was going to say, who has a Wat Tambor impression? I'm like, probably none of us. Caitlin, do you have a secret Wat Tambor? No. Matt, do you have one?
Techno Union.
What?
Wow.
That's actually, I'm not even going to try and
good?
compete with that.
That's
That was good, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey.
Subscribe and leave 5 stars on Jabba.
bell droids in the galaxy. You have this tone that I can't
Yeah, that's
replicate.
good.
Yeah. No, it's quite good. It's quite good.
Not last one.
That last
Well, the last we saw Tambor in this show, he was getting arrested on Ryloth. He was like, what are your terms? And Windows like, they're unconditional. He's like, agreed. I'm like,
Yeah.
He says it like it was a hard thing to agree to. It's like, he said no terms. He's like, I always think of that. It's like, you're done, dude. Anyway.
All the prequel species, I think the Techno Union might be my favorite.
They're
just really interesting.
Yeah,
Weird.
they're really interesting and weird.
They make no sense.
They took a big swing with them.
Yeah.
It's like one of those Star Wars things that they bring in Attack of the Clones. It's like Camino and the Geonosians. It's like, this isn't like anything else.
Right. And when they break this story, like this particular one with the algorithm and everything, like I wonder if they had the Techno Union in mind from the start to be the species that propagates that, because it's kind of genius.
It makes sense,
right?
sense.
With all the cyber stuff going on.
with all that stuff.
It's like cyber warfare. It's like, well, you know who knows? You know who knows about cyber warfare.
Well, like there's some body horror elements in there that you could
totally.
read into,
Yeah, exactly.
especially in this
so
episode.
much body horror this week.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
But anyway, no, it's the last we saw him was after Ryloth, and then we saw him. He was in the Republic prison next to our old buddy friend. After it pans out, I was like, you want a capable laugh? We see him rolling around the set. We do. There's reason to bring him up.
I know.
There's reason to bring him up. I'm not
I
just
know,
doing
I
it
know.
for the sake of doing it this time. After so much disarray, there was reason to bring in Zero the Hutt. So you're never gonna know what to expect. Anyway, yeah, you probably do. Anyway, so they're holding Echo in Percol, which is this compound, and they just want to get their man and get out of here. The Politeks say they will lead them there and they will help. So these guys are cool. We like the Politeks. Live from Percol, it is Wat Tambor and more of his Techno-Union trash.
Yeah.
So he doesn't bother with the tactical droid like on Ryloth. He's not loading up the Ark of the Covenant this time, but he's got a bunch of his other fellow trash around. Trench is on the line with him with news of the clones being there, and Tambor says the Techno-Union has, and this is a quote, corporate neutrality, so we're safe. He's like, how dare the Republic mess with my secret separatist stuff that I have going on? I'm like, dude, what is the corporate neutrality?
neutrality.
I'm like, you are known
You're capitalistic.
You are known to be a separatist ally. You're on the Separatist Council. You've been in Republic prison. We don't know how you got out. You were leading the Ryloth, the whole invasion.
Yeah, what happened?
We know.
Yeah.
So how did you? This is the same thing I have with the Munes. Thanks, Wires.
Techno-Union is Star Wars story.
It's like the banking clan. How are they? Yeah. How are they written off? It's like, well, they control the banks. We know some are separatists, but we gotta love money. It's like, how are they? It's probably just Palpatine. Palpatine just like finds a way. He's like, to let these guys continually off the hook.
He's five steps ahead of everyone else.
It will be corporate neutrality, and they will have it, and it will benefit everyone.
Corporate neutrality.
And you find some kind of separatist stooge to back it up in their idiotic Senate. Now Mina Bontari's gone, so I'm sure those are fun to watch on the HoloNet, whatever. It's like, it's like, first order of business, is Count Dooku a Sith? Obviously not. Next order of business, nothing else, because that's the most important thing. Anyway, so for Tambor's return, we're going to use the cannon and fire! And also his corporate BS, but we're not going to give that a separate thing. Whatever that is.
Nope.
It's like, I'm amazed that the Republic fell.
Yeah.
It's like, it's stuff like this. Anyway.
only they
Republic
had
was
you.
really bad at everything.
Literally right after I wrote that, I have typed in all caps, the wind in Anakin's hair. Happy everyone? With 3 question marks.
Yes.
Because it was really apparent.
It was very
blowing
nice.
at this
I
point.
was so happy.
It's like he might as well have been doing, the hair shake. It's like he's
so good.
3 steps away.
It's like some Fabio
From doing a
crap.
Tresemme. It's like doing a Tresemme ad. He's got, that first Star Wars poster where Luke is like, is pretty much bare chested.
Yes.
It's like, why not just break out that look?
Yeah.
It's
I
like,
mean,
it's
let's
complete
just
the
do
look.
it. Why not?
You were quick to agree.
Why not?
Animated character.
Don't shame me.
I'm not shaming you. We talked about this already. Is it okay to have
it's not
I
nice.
made it perfectly clear I have crushes on animated Star Wars characters.
Yeah.
Padme, not anything weird. Matt, you agree, right?
I agree. I mean, Padme is a very attractive animated character.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. That's all we're gonna. We're gonna put a pin on.
The animation is really good.
Yes,
It's stunning this
and it's
season.
really attractive. Anyway, signal lost, interference on what? What's going on? Is he alive? Is he not? Is the signal fake? Is it a trap? And Rex says every mission could be a trap. And I'm like, ooh. Good one, Rex.
Yeah.
Another check on the old
Got him.
Rex's awesome list. Rex and Crosshair come to blows. Personal feelings getting in the way.
It's only a matter of time.
And he goes, "Why?" And then Wrecker pops in and says, "Why don't you pick on someone not your size?" Like, good one, Wrecker. Good one, Wrecker. We got some Anakin Rex time, some more quality Anakin Rex time, and Rex just believes. He just believes. He can't not believe that Echo's alive. And this is a personal feeling. It's like, well, is he going too far or not?
You know
It's like,
who tries to talk him down from it, and who is typically the person who goes off
the
personal
poster
feelings?
child of the opposite? Anakin, yeah. It's Anakin lecturing somebody about the dangers of personal feelings.
He's like honing his Obi-Wan energy, trying very hard.
He's trying so hard.
It's like me
don't
having a
believe it.
conversation with somebody and about the virtues of not going over the top. It's like, anyway. So Anakin says, this is a stealth mission, so no blasting, no blowing things up. And I'm like,
Sure.
yeah, right, dude. Oh, in caps.
King of-
right after that.
Under his resume, king of
Boom.
blasting and blowing things up.
Permission to jump in an X-Wing and blow something up. And he's like, Wrecker immediately runs and shouts not a second after this. And we got new battle droid models here that look like creepy bird things.
Yeah.
We've never seen them before.
They look easy to kill.
They do.
Yeah, they do.
They look
but
unsteady.
We will find out if my memory serves right. We'll see that they do more things than they show in this episode.
Yeah.
But he starts throwing them around. The best part of this episode is, it's not the best part, but it was a highlight. One of them goes flying out the window and screams, "Wah!" And I'm like, we haven't had battle droid humor like this in a long time.
My favorite.
It's been a long time. And I'm like, oh, it's great. Whenever they're like, "Why?" And I'm like, oh, but it's
poor battle droids.
And Rex then says, so much for stealth.
Yeah.
And they waste these losers. They just split up and they look for Echo. They just it's
not even
glorious.
a
Now
contest.
with Anakin in the mix, the camera moves and everything. The camera, everything like that. It is glorious.
But
It is
also
just
like
glorious.
again, Wrecker's like Leroy Jenkins moment when he just Wrecker.
He just comes in and texts like, and texts formidable with the moves and everything too. It's not just brains. He doesn't just do machines.
He's got the best car.
He's got the. You started at that time. But we got these gorgeous shots, and Anakin's also a seismic leap in terms of animation. Anakin's lightsaber moves, the parries and the swirls and everything like this. Oh, it just looks so good. And
the
I'm
choreography
like,
of it all.
Imagine, I'm thinking, oh my God, the Siege of Man, the duel that's coming up.
If
they do this good with Anakin, what's gonna happen? Oh my God! They converge on a door, but Tambor comes over the comm saying the algorithm predicted what they would do. Yep. Tambor denies that there's a prisoner in there. It's pretty much, don't pay attention to that.
Don't go in that
guy
door
behind the curtain. And there's a ton of droids now come out to execute everyone. And then there's just another joyous sequence of Bad Batch Rex and Anakin wasting them all with utter perfect precision.
Yep.
It's like anything else.
Not
and
a
they waste
scratch on
every
them.
single one. Nobody's in danger of having anything. And Anakin's upgraded moves, I got to do it with the prepare a seismic mind charge because mind blown. Tech and Rex then go into the chamber. Time for the moment of truth. A sealed hatch opens, and there is Echo. Emaciated, plugged into all kinds of machines like it's something out of the Matrix. He's missing an arm with a weird thing. Echo's first words are about escaping the Citadel because that's the last time we saw him in season 3. Yep. He's like, did we make it? We gotta escape. We gotta escape the Citadel. Yeah. And Rex just
the look on Rex's face
holds him tight. He's like, sit tight, trooper. You're going home. Da-da!
Yeah.
So he's alive.
Talk about body horror.
Yeah.
Any other favorite moments that we haven't addressed that you guys want to call out?
No, Wrecker with the Gonk droid.
Yeah, Wrecker with the Gonk droid.
That's it. That was it from me.
What about you, Caitlin? We know what the Caitlin Screams moment was.
We know what the Caitlin Screams moment was.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to shout out again the body horror at the end of that. We say all the time, like I'm a really big horror fan. So I absolutely love when elements of other things are brought in other things and blah blah blah. But
that's your Zillow beast,
yeah.
Well, he just like falls out of it,
does.
you know, and it's
he
like
kind of like flops there,
because
and
he's
like there's
plugged
like
in.
It actually also we'll get to it. It has a weird comics connection this week too. When I saw this, I'm like, that's parallel something that we saw in the comics this week. Intriguing, no? Anyway,
what do you got? What do you got? What's your final thought?
I mean, it's so. Of course, the Rex Anakin scene of Rex badly playing wingman. I'm like,
that was good.
This is not the first time they've done this.
Yeah.
And I'm also like, they got to work on this. It's like, I want to see a whole show of secret holocalls and how they work this out. Like
I would watch an entire episode that was just
like
that.
New Girl, but it's with Padme, Anakin, and Rex.
Yep.
And it's all these secret things, and Obi-Wan's like, oh, hello. It's like, oh, here it comes
He's
again.
So
and they just keep,
Obi-Wan's like, I know what you're
They
doing.
keep getting worse. It's like, tell Padme I said hi. It's like, who's Padme? It's like, by the way, is she okay? Is there someone named Padme? I don't know. Also, the way I gotta say.
That's good.
But my sommelier pairing this week, if you watch this episode and you want more Clone Wars to go with it, you know what's going to go really well with this episode? All 3 from the Citadel arc from season 3.
Yeah, you gotta watch those.
So good. The Citadel counterattack and the Citadel rescue. Those are just really good episodes.
Great episodes.
Ends with such a great space battle at the end.
Yep.
It's just great stuff. And Tarkin and Anakin is great in there. Ahsoka's great in there. And Force bless poor Evan Peel. Final thoughts. Any final thoughts before we leave the Bad Batch?
No, that's
week?
it. Excited for
What
I
do you
guess
think next
Part
week?
3.
Yeah,
part
part
3
3
of the Bad Batch.
and that's got to be it, right?
Chaos on. No, it's part. There's
4. Oh, there's 4.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
There's
that's
4.
right. Yep.
But I'll just leave you with a tantalizing thing for
Please.
next week. Well, or should I? Should I not spoil it? I shouldn't spoil it.
Oh, because
No.
you watched the
No.
the animatics.
No.
I won't.
Yeah,
spoil
no
it.
spoiling.
I won't spoil it.
Yeah.
It was going to be fun, but I won't.
save it.
I'll keep it to myself. I'm having fun in my own head.
Yeah.
Anyway, with that, we're going to go to break, but worry not. We'll be right back with so much more. So stick right there. We'll be right back after after these messages. Stay tuned. We're back, and now it's time to take a look at some galactic points of interest.
Good news has come to the citizens of Lothal.
A major publishing initiative this week revealed Project Luminous.
Project Luminous.
Finally revealed what it is, and wouldn't you know, it is a giant publishing initiative.
Oh, look at that.
Are we surprised?
No, I'm astonished. But it is very cool. It's exactly what we thought it would be, but it's very cool. They have this whole big song and dance presentation that everyone live tweeted about, and then they released a trailer, which you can see online now. But we'll just run through exactly what this is. And they've never done anything as like overarching as this before. Yeah, and all in the same time period, because it's including all of the publishers, books and comics, YA books, children's books, novels, comics from both Marvel and IDW.
Which is amazing.
All of them working, all of it canon.
Collaboration.
Yeah, and it's really cool. And they brought in, it will all take place in the High Republic, which we knew they've started to drop that in like Rise of Kylo Ren and other things. They've started to make that a thing, so now it's a thing. It started, they've mentioned, it's 200 years before the Phantom Menace with the Jedi akin to the Knights of the Round Table.
Jedi of the Round Table, if you will.
Yeah, Jedi of the Round Table. Is their table round? We'll find out. Kathleen Kennedy described it as seeing them in their prime. And they will be faced with disaster of some sort, but will also face space Vikings called the Nihil, spelled Nihil, but pronounced Nile. And they have also been referenced at least once in IDW Comics. So they've been seeping them in too. And they keep saying they're space Vikings.
You guys know how I feel about space pirates, so space Vikings, that's just like,
I mean, is that like up a notch?
Yeah.
It's like, hey,
that's cool.
You like space Vikings? Yo, dog, I put space Vikings in your car. Mad Mike, you're truly mad. Anyway, authors on this project include Charles Soule, who's big in the comics right now. Claudia Gray, one of my favorite Star Wars authors there is. Justina Ireland, I've not read her work, but sure, it's great. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to checking it out. Daniel Jose Older, who wrote Last Shot, the Han Lando book that came before Solo. That was so good. Cavan Scott is also on board. And this is all being described as a first phase of what's going through. So all of them are kind of working together. They had them up to the ranch. They're like, well, what do you want to do? Artwork is already being done, notably by Ian McCaig, who famously did the first concept artwork for Darth Maul. Very cool. And Phil Noto, who has also been around the conceptual art block. So this time period also does not invalidate anything from Knights of the Old Republic. This is something we need to, be very clear in case anyone's worried about that. This is just 200 years out. So even Yoda could even pop in.
Yeah, which is very interesting. Yeah.
A young, spry 700 years old.
It's like, well, we had old Yoda, we have baby Yoda, and now we're going to get like young adult Yoda.
Yeah,
it's like, but it's only
late 30s, early 30s Yoda.
Middle-aged Yoda?
Well,
like
in Phantom Menace, he's like...
he's like 900?
Skywalker Saga, he's 900, so he'd be 700.
So
he's a bit older.
He's a boomer.
Semi-Dooku-aged Yoda?
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how it works.
We don't know how the Force works. Anyway, but they mentioned at the launch event that the years between the films, it was the books and comics that keep the batteries going, and that's what this is going to do. And they said between the original... And we talked about this last week. The original trilogy and the prequels trilogy, certainly that was true, because that's all we had.
Yeah. Yep.
The prequels and they said it's the same was true with the prequels and the sequels. I was like, I'm like, well, yes, you had books, but then you wiped away all the canon, and there was also a little show called The Clone Wars during that time, which really helped get the battery going.
So like you gotta kick it back into gear now. Though.
That's this whole thing is like, and will we eventually see a show or a movie set in this High Republic? Absolutely. I mean, they didn't say that, but come on, they're building up all this lore. They're not going to go for it. There's a full-on Wookiee Jedi on the cover of one of these books.
It's cool.
And he looks, and people are already like going nuts over him and saying like, I just saw a picture of him, but if anything happens to him, I'll kill everybody and myself. Already, they're doing that with the Bad Batch already. But it's like they're now. It's like you see one photo on a book cover of it's hilarious. Yeah. But another thing that's going to help those batteries going between movies, us here at Jabba the Pod, worry not. Had to get that in. The full trailer for all this initiative, for what it is, more information, who the artists are, and seeing all of the beautiful artwork, which is wonderful, and some of the lightsabers lightsabers have cross guards on them,
Yeah.
like Excalibur.
Yeah, which is very
Some of
cool.
them are just, tried and true designs.
Cool.
It's all really cool stuff. All of it, you can see it on YouTube or StarWars.com, the Star Wars channel on YouTube. It's not hard to find.
Yeah.
The project will kick off with Charles Soule's entry called Light of the Jedi this August. Personally, I'm going to be picking it up.
Yeah, and I assume we'll be talking about it.
I think we're gonna.
Okay.
It's like I think we can all count on that. Now, a little comics news this week. Star Wars #3 came out Wednesday the 26th, and I said there was a connection. We're back to Cloud City. They do go back to Cloud City, and Lando's reason for going back to Cloud City, Lobot.
Oh, awesome.
He's like, I have a friend here I have to repay. And it's wonderful because in the Lando comic, we see how close he was with Lobot and how Lobot used to talk just like I'm talking to you now. Hey, I'm Lobot. What's going on? And he had those, that thing. That he still had that, but he talked. Yeah. And it's a reason because the sacrifice he had to make for Lando in that miniseries that he couldn't, that he is who we come to know in a little bit. And Empire Strikes Back and mostly all had the action figure of. So that's also, if you haven't read the Lando miniseries comic, it's a wonderful comic. It's really it's one of the better miniseries. It's really, really good. Cool. But that ties directly into that, and that's when we first met. And of course, he sees Lobot now. The Cloud City's under Imperial control. How do you think they have Lobot hung up, wires coming all out of his head everywhere? And I immediately thought when I saw poor Echo, I was like, oh my God, it's exactly what they did in Lobot. So it's like, it's kind of like body horror, but comic body horror. It's like, what is it with the body horror?
Love it.
Anyway, body horror. And a quick little thing with gaming. I got back into playing Fallen Order.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
I have not.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's like, I didn't think any of us did, but I'm like, you know what? I'm finally going to crack this. It took me, I am not exaggerating, 50 times to jump over these ropes, get down the thing and jump on the wall. But once I finally did it, then I'm like, now we're back. Yeah. And I got to this section of the game, and it's been out for such a long time, it's not a thing, but you find yourself in a gladiatorial arena where you're finding all kinds of fighting monsters, and some insects are attacking you. And the bounty hunter that is overseeing it, that is doing the announcer, he says, it's like mating season on Yalbec Prime. And I was like, oh my God, because we were just talking about that. You remember from Bad Batch 1, Yalbec Prime and the Stingers and mating season and everything else. Yep. And it was a couple days after we had that had come out.
The timing.
And I was like, I couldn't believe it. I wrote to them like, I have to mention this on the show. That was, I cackled.
That's really good.
I got jammed in the back with a stinger because I was laughing at it.
That was the first time we've ever heard about it in Clone Wars, right?
No, apparently this came out first.
But
maybe,
like,
I guess the animatics, it came first in that. If it was in that, I mean, I don't know,
connection.
but it's just a thing. It's always been a thing. So I highly recommend getting back into Fallen Order, which, as far as I know, doesn't feature Admiral Trench, but
I don't know
it
why.
might.
Yeah.
And those stingers are really, they're really valuable. Ted told us so. And now it's time for a new segment, which we're going to debut. It's time, if you'll join us, to spend a little time in something we like to call Captain's Corner.
I haven't had my muffin yet, Matt.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Captain's Corner. So if you've been listening the past few weeks, there's been a lot of talk of the great Dash Rendar, who is a character from Shadows of the Empire, the classic N64 game and multimedia experience from 1996.
Yep. And a book. And a book. I should say that's where I read the book, you played the game. That's why I think Dash Rendar is more of a thing for you.
Yes, but speaking of books, because you provided me with the money for the bet that we had on Dash Rendar, we both have copies of Tales from Vandor.
That was part of it. Why I bought it, I don't know. Yeah. But it's a really fun read.
Yep. So real quick, if I can get some, can I get some reading music wires, please? There's a loudmouth flyboy named Rendar who swears Chewbacca deserves the real credit, explaining that the Wookiee scouts on Kashyyyk know secret routes all over the galaxy, and Chewie shared one of them with Beckett's gang. And that is the Dash Rendar cameo.
That's really good. I mean, it's written from like the bartender's perspective. Yep. But it just says Rendar. Now, to me, I do agree with you that it's obviously Dash, but it could be like Cornelius
Bob Rendar.
Renfield. Robert Jones Rendar.
Yes. Yes, exactly. It could be.
That famous character. Yeah. But I think, I agree. It's fun that it's there. I like that. This is also by Jason Fry. I think it's fun that he threw that little tidbit in there.
Very fun. Yeah. And also,
it's a very quick read. It's not a journal you write in either. I was way wrong about that.
No, you were very wrong on that part. Yeah.
It's the first time for everything.
But also, in my research on Dash Rendar, it looks like Zachary Levi, who played Shazam in the DC movie, and Chuck, he has stated on Twitter that he'd like to play Dash Rendar.
He'd be a great Dash Rendar.
Wouldn't he be good?
If anyone's going to do it.
Yeah.
If anyone other than you.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if it has to be someone else.
So anyway, audience, officially that is the end
of Dash
Rendar Gate.
And I want for the record, I was prepared to let it go. I was prepared to fully let it go.
We're going to let it go, and we're going to flush it out the vac tube, as we say.
Well, that was a successful first installment of Captain's Corner.
Thank you. And also, I will add, there's a really fun YouTube video got me thinking about the Techno Union.
You have to talk. Yes.
So I just want to. Can I just play a second of the Techno Union song, Wires?
The Techno Union is at your disposal now.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good. So I'm going to just point you guys all to check out the Techno Union on YouTube. It was posted in 2015 by username Elite Master Lord of All.
Oh, well, to that user, well done.
Well done.
Good
and
stuff.
Now it is time for Caitlin's Word of the Week.
The word of the week is boom.
Yeah! Gonk. It's also the name of the episode. Our episode.
Okay.
Anyway, awesome. That's going to take us into Real Talk.
I'm looking forward to having some real talk with some real folks.
Comment on iTunes this week, which was an interesting canon connection. LHV 1993 gave us an interesting canon connection. The Kyber memory crystal that's mentioned in Season 2, Episode 2 of the Clone Wars episode Cargo of Doom. Remember this, the one, it has all the list of the Force-sensitive children. That's what Cad Bane's trying to steal for Palpatine.
Yeah.
And it's always weird because this is the first time that Kyber crystal was mentioned. It used to be an old thing that never really made it into canon.
Yeah, right.
And it was before Kyber crystals became the booming business they are now. So they just called it in that episode the Kyber crystal. Now there's a million of them. It's now called the Kyber memory crystal on Wikipedia. I still have a lot of questions about how this came to be.
Yeah.
Anyway, but this user pointed out that it plays a role in Jedi Fallen Order. I'm like, that's interesting. So if you already played Jedi Fallen Order through today, you probably know what this is. I'm not going to spoil it for myself because I have to earn it.
Yeah, you got to earn it.
I'm going to earn this canon.
You got to fall a million more times.
I also, it's at least. I also looked it up and it didn't have it listed. So I just got to play the game to find
out.
Good info.
Oh my God.
He's never going to find out.
Look of
he's never going to find out.
Challenge accepted. I'm going to find out
I know
tonight.
that's what it's going to take.
Yeah, okay. I don't care how long it takes. Anyway, okay. With that, we're going to throw this episode too. There's also a little Easter egg from the Bad Batch 1, episode 1. Fernox from Rebels you can see in the background. You guys catch that? Anybody posting about that?
No.
The Fernox from Rebels.
Well, now they
walking
will.
around in the background. Hononaxis! Well, with that, we are going to throw this Luminous episode to the Fernox. But join us next week for the third episode of Season 7 of Star Wars The Clone Wars, where we'll be breaking down the new episode and also covering everything and anything else going on in the galaxy far, far away. In the meantime, feel free to reach out to us via social media if you so choose. Caitlin, you can be found where?
I can be found at Caitlin M. Bush. That's Caitlin M. Bush, like the beer, not like the president's.
Captain Romano, you can be found where?
And you can find me on Twitter at Matt Romano, MatTROMANO.
And I can be found on Twitter at Brian Silliman. That's at BRIAN, Essence and Skywalker, ILLIMAN. I'm so glad I didn't have to look at my computer to spell my own name again. It's the little victories, personal feelings get in the way. Stretch out with your feelings and share your thoughts. We love hearing from you. Subscribe, leave a comment, and give 5 stars if you're feeling generous. Snoke them if you got them. Take it, Chibi, and remember, hope is like the sodden. If you only believe in it when you can see it, you'll never make it through the night. Boom! This is the way we have spoken. Hutslayer, fulfill your destiny. To subscribe, click right here. And for more videos, click here.